Welcome to Dad's Reflecting, where I dive deep into lessons learned from life, leadership, and fatherhood. And today's topic is one that I think that every father needs to hear, and that is the presence matters more than perfection. If you ever felt like you weren't doing enough as a father, like you weren't getting everything right, or like you had to be some kind of superhero dad, this episode is for you. Because the truth is, our kids don't need a perfect dad. They just need us showing up, listening, and being more involved, and not have all the answers. And in breakdown, why presence is more powerful than perfection, and how can we be more present, and how it truly impacts our kids. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So in discussion, the myth of the perfect dad. We live in a world where dads are expected to be providers, protectors, role models, and as well as emotionally available, all while balancing work and the personal struggles and life's challenges. The pressure can feel overwhelming, especially if we didn't have a strong father figure ourselves. The truth is, no one has this figured out. To give you a personal story, I used to think that being a great dad meant always having the right advice or always making the right decisions and never messing up. But I remember a time when I was stressed and frustrated, and I let the stress and frustration get the best of me. I spend a lot of time with my son, which is a blessing, but, in all honesty, sometimes it can be a little exhausting, and one day I had a lot on my mind, the job searches, responsibilities, and life was just weighing on me. And my son, who was full of energy, kept trying to get my attention. He wanted to play, laugh, and just be with me, but I was too caught up in my own thoughts. Instead of engaging with him, I just gave him a quick distracted response and kept looking at my phone, and I was also lost in my own world. I'll never forget the way he looked at me, like he was trying to understand why I wasn't present with him. The night after he fell asleep, I sat there with the feelings of guilt. And here I am with all this time to spend with him, and I let my worries take me away from that moment. But the next day I made a different choice. When he came to me, I put my phone and every else thing I had going on to the side, and I got on the floor, and then we just played and we laughed and wrestled. And for that time, nothing else mattered. And that was when it hit me. He didn't need me to have it all figured out. He just needed me to be there, to be present, to love him in those small moments. That's why I'm going to learn that's what fatherhood is really about. Even when we're tired and stressed, or even when we're uncertain, our presence matters more than perfection. And that's a lesson I'm still learning every day. And the key takeaway to this is our kids don't need us to be flawless. They need one who is present, willing and engaged to show up even when those times are hard and when we're struggling. What being present really means, for me, it's not just being physically present, but it's about giving my full attention. As I mentioned, putting my phone down and making eye contact and listening and engaging in his interest, even if it's watching the same cartoon for the 50th time. Being emotionally available. I'm not just there to fix problems, but also acknowledge feelings. So I challenged myself, for this week to set aside just 10 minutes a day where my sole focus is my child, and no distractions, and to allow it to see how it changes our connection. and overcoming these barriers to being present. And why do why I think so many dads struggle with this is work stress. You know, we bring work home and we're zoned out, like I gave the quick example, and self-doubt, you know, feeling like we're not enough. So we disengage, and the distractions, you know, such as phones, TV, and other responsibilities get in the way. So some solutions and encouragement, instead of striving to be that perfect father in that moment, we should focus on small, consistent moments of connection. And if we get distracted, you know, we should acknowledge it and try it again. And also apologize when we make mistakes. It teaches our kids humility and accountability. So in mind shift, present isn't about doing something huge. It's those little things that matter. And those little things, such as choosing to show up even when we're tired and stressed or unsure. The long-term impact of being present, how does being present shape our kids? Emotional security, you know, they feel safe and valued, and the stronger relationships, they learn to trust us even more, and higher self-esteem, they feel more important in our life. In the final reflection, years from now, our kids won't remember whether the house was spotless or if we had all the answers. You know, they remember how we made them feel, whether we were there listening, and when we showed up. That's what really matters more to kids. So, in closing thought, as us fathers, let's make the commitment today not to be perfect, but to be more present. Our kids don't need us to be flawless. They need, once again, I repeat, they need us to be listeners, loving and caring, and just showing up no matter what the situation is. So with that being said, until next time, keep reflecting and keep showing up. As dads, we got this.